Okay, let me go do all the stuff that I did for the last 7 minutes that I've been, probably 10, that I've been thinking that I've been live. Oh, I'm so embarrassing sometimes. Gosh. Um, Man, it's just crazy that like someday that stuff's gonna get away from you. Okay, so let's check everybody again. Okay, boom, you're good. What about you? See, you were the reason that I thought I was live the first time. Okay, I was looking for that. Okay, okay, okay. Ooh, man, oh man. Sometimes, man, sometimes I get on my own nerves. Okay, I don't believe we need this right now. Okay, so that one should be good. I also don't need you anymore. Okay, look at us doing things. Um, let's pop that out. Even though I think it's gonna show me, I don't need that anymore. Hello, hello, and welcome. Let me see what else do I want to put in there. Hey, girl, hey. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm pretty sure you're not. Not if you're at work. Um, I hope it's better after this. Okay. I really thought, I mean, I was on there chatting and everything, just button just not pushed. Just not pushed at all. Like, ridiculous. I don't know, man. Being a being a one man show is hard. Don't listen. I know why the people say what they say, but man, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough. Um. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Um. So we are this today's Wednesday, and so on Wednesdays we do Ask Coach Katasha. And Ask Coach Katasha is a user-friendly live Q&A for you to ask me your sexual health questions, okay? Those Okay, but before you get started, let me do some housekeeping. Okay, just not don't put them in there yet. Okay. Okay. So first and foremost, let's do a little bit of background on who I am. Because I'm appearing on platforms that you probably haven't seen me on before. So let's talk a little bit about who I am. My name is Catasha Gordon. I am a certified sexuality educator, and I've been teaching sex ed for the last 11 years. Okay. I have books. I have done hundreds and hundreds of classes. So I'm legit. Okay. You can Google me. And when you Google me, that stuff that come up is actually me. Okay. So you can really Google me if, you have questions, which I want you to. I encourage you to research the resources that you are using for certain things. Okay. Well, actually for all your things, but definitely for certain things. But so why am I here? I am here because I, as well as a lot of other sexuality educators, are well aware that you do not have access to sexual education resources. We are aware of that. We've been hollering it, we've been screaming it. Of course, nobody's listening to us because as soon as you say sex, everybody's like, oh my God, it's a fire. We got to get us out of here. So, in light of that, the people who are actually teaching sexual education would like to come forward and let you know that we exist and that whatever you're into, there are people that, are also into that thing and just want to open the floor for people to have a resource in sexual education. I specifically teach adults. So this is not a stream that is going to be an age appropriate introduction to sex education for children. So just make sure that if you are listening to this stream, that you have your headphones on, especially if you're at work, because baby, you cannot come live with me when the people put you out that building. Okay. So just make sure that you have your headphones on. This is going to be usually our classes and our streams are structured, but Wednesdays are specifically for this interaction. And so just as a trigger warning to some things, we might be discussing some things. Somebody might ask a question about something that you feel is uncomfortable or something that you're not into. That's absolutely fine. Please don't come in here telling us about how you think something is nasty and all of that. We don't care. Okay? We don't care. That's not what we're here for, and we don't care. So, if you have an issue with what's being discussed or it's something that you're not into, wait 10 minutes and then we can talk about what you want to talk about. And I will be happy to answer whatever question you have as well. Now, speaking of the questions, okay, you can ask me whatever question you want to ask me. Okay, I've done all the footwork to appear on these platforms because I am a true educator. So I know how to navigate the space to make sure that I stay up, but I need to make sure that you also are navigating the space so that we can stay up. And in some cases, we may still get taken down. I have to I have to fight for my right to exist all the time, and I will do that. It always comes back up. But so if that does happen and the platform gets taken down, just look for me in the future. I'll be back somewhere. But I want to be able to truly address the issues that you need me to address, but I also have to ask you to be respectful, and I'm going to have to ask you to put your Grey's Anatomy, put your house hat on, whatever medical show you need to guide you, to help you ask the type of question. Ask the question in a way that doesn't get you blocked and doesn't get me blocked as well, okay? So there is a way for you to ask about anything, okay? It just has to be put under a medical lens, okay? So, for example, if you wanted to ask me, why your thing ain't working, you would say, hey, I'm having issues with, my penis or whatever term you use where you're at, because some of these reach outside of the United States. Just long as it's not something that's gonna get you blocked or banned, but it's not functioning the way that I would want it to. Here are some of the issues I'm having. What should I do about that? Okay. I can answer that. That will keep us up. Now, if you get on here and start being reckless, I'm gonna have to put you out. I don't want to do that, okay? Because I truly do believe that even under when people are being funny and when people are trolling and all that, there's a question in there, right? So I've been doing this for a long time. I started this on Craigslist, okay? So I done seen and done it all. I have I have encountered every type of question you can think of. Well, maybe not. And I love new stuff, so please throw that on me. But you're bringing this to someone who is well versed in moving in these spaces, and I want you. My goal to here on these platforms is to provide a space for you to feel safe to come and talk about things that you don't feel comfortable talking about with other people, right? And getting information, getting the correct information is it's a healthy part of learning, and having access to that information is the reason that I'm here, because where else are you going to find it? Every time I walk in the room and I tell them, I was like, hey, you probably are never going to run into another one of these in your life. So you can waste the time if you want to, or we can talk about what's really going on with your butthole. Okay. So it's up to you. It's up to you. So I encourage you, if you do have questions, to drop them in the chat. You can send me a personal message um, if you are shy, if you don't want people in your business. I absolutely get that. I am not here to, bash. This is going to come from a no judgment place. I believe that everything that you want to do, all the things that you want to do, you should have access to do, and you should be able to do them as long as you are being safe, and as long as everyone that is also participating in that activity with you consented. That's all that I care about. Are you doing it safely, and did everybody consent? Other than that, you can do all the things that bring your heart joy, okay? I'm not here to yuck your yum. I'm not here to tell you that what you like and what you don't like, and that's not my job. My job is to make sure that you're being safe and that everybody's having a good time. All right? Okay. So if you want to ask me questions and you don't want to out yourself, or you don't want people in your business, you can send those questions to my email. You can also send them to any of my, you can go on my social media and send them to any of my, I've been off of social media this month. So, um, I haven't been keeping up. And it, just like every other Wednesday, I also did not check any of my inboxes before I sat down here. I didn't. So let's go check the boxes. See if we got any questions in there. Again, please feel free. You can hop in at any time. Drop your question in the chat. Let me open. Drop your question in the chat, and or even if you just want to say hey, I'm fine with that too. Like, you don't have to be responsible for keeping me entertained. Um, I'm really good at that. I don't really need a lot of help. But if you do have your questions, you can send them there. If you I will bring them back to the stream. But if you put any information that, like, any identifying information, I'm going to take all that out. So even if I have to just paraphrase the question, I'll take all of that out. Because again, I don't want to out you either. I just want you to make sure that you're getting your questions answered in a safe and non-judgmental environment. And, that's what we're doing. So I opened this for a reason. What did I do that for? I'm checking boxes. Okay. Checking our inbox, seeing if we got, you can also go to the website. And you can leave your questions there as well. Okay. Do, 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 do. Where are. Is it this one? No. No, it's not you. It's not you either. It's. Oh, this must be the new whatever they did to it. I don't know what they've changed, but I don't approve. Okay, okay. Okay, we don't have anything in there. That's the same ones. All right, let's check and see what else we have. Please, if you have any questions that you would like answered, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Um, Remember to be respectful. Put your white coat on when you're asking it to make sure that um, we can stay up and give me the opportunity to answer the question. Give me the opportunity to answer the question before they kick us out of here. Okay, so here is my. Oh, did it? I turned all of that off. Um, See, I turned it off. I don't know why that would be. And you're on Twitch. Let me go look. Because it shouldn't be. I turned all of it off. I know that. Oh, let me go look. Let me see if it's in there. Ooh, maybe I could check it on my. Do, 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 do. Ooh, that's what I need. Okay, so I am still piddling around in here, so I don't really know the stuff. Okay. Would question where would the questions be? It won't be in there. I think it's somewhere. Oop, I see now I'm doing stuff. I'm pushing buttons. But what they gonna do? Who gonna check me, boo? Is it in here? Mod, auto mod queue. Okay. Messages held by auto mod will display here. There's none in there. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm like, it said it was. Oh, display messages with. I got that. Block terms, auto mod terms. Yeah, it's not in there. Man. Maybe we have to. I know, but I guess I gotta learn, right? I have to figure out how to where that would be, because maybe it's other stuff in there. Maybe people have been asking questions that I don't see that are getting put into somewhere that I'm not seeing them. Okay, now let me look on here. Okay, okay. Now, where are y'all hiding my questions? Let's go in here. I'm gonna mute you. Oh, you're already muted. Okay. Where would I go? Would it be in there? No. Hmm. Okay. Oh, what's this? I'm like, I have not violated any guidelines, so I'm still here. I'm still in the building. Um, I shouldn't have violated any guidelines on any of the platforms, but who knows? Honestly, let's go to what's in here. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on. It's making me enter something from my email to find the dang questions. Thank you. Okay, okay. Oh, and you made me do all that. And I didn't even need to be in here. I don't know who I'm mad at. It was definitely me. Okay, so there's somewhere that the questions are going, right? So I have to figure out what they're doing with y'all questions so that I can turn it off. So I turned off any of the um oh, okay, yeah, I can answer that. So the question is, how do you properly clean prior to backdoor access? Okay. So this is important. This is an important question because there are a lot of people who participate uh, in backdoor play that are doing it in ways that are unsafe, in ways that could create potential problems in the future. So it's actually a really great question. Okay, so let me give my warnings. Let me give my warnings. Okay. I'm gonna need you to turn your ears on so that you can hear what I'm saying. If this is also something that you're interested in, and again, please feel free to add in the chat if you have like a little tidbit or something to add to it. Um, you're free to do that. Okay. So the best way to properly clean prior to access is going to start a little bit earlier in the day. So you also have to make sure what you're ingesting doesn't show up to the party as well. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that if you know that you're going to be playing back there, you need to make sure that you are eating light. um, and you can't we can't be having no baked beans and macaroni and cheese and dressing with the cranberry sauce on the side and the gravy. You can't do that. Okay. You need to make sure that I mean, you can, hey, you can do whatever you want to do, right? I'm just saying, if you are concerned about somebody else showing up to your party, okay, you gonna have to start earlier in the day, right? So have you a nice salad, maybe some soup or something. Just eat light, to make the process, the rest of this process, go pretty smoothly. Okay. Now, there is actually a product that you can get, or a process that you get. Again, nobody pays me to do this, so I'm just telling you. I'm also not a medical professional. Okay. I am a sex educator. I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not an LPN, I'm not nothing. I don't have a pair of scrubs in this house. Okay. But I am an educator. So it's my job to learn about it and then teach you. Okay. So what you're going to do, what you want to do before that, you want to make sure that you eat light, that you're not consuming too heavy, fatty things that are, going to cause issues. We also want to avoid stomach cramps and all that stuff. So just eat light, right? Do a little bit of grazing, a little snacking for the day. When it's time, you are going to buy a product that is called Fleet. Now, this is a product, this is easy if you don't, if you no mess, no no fuss, whatever. You can just go and buy it. Essentially what it is it's a douche bottle. It is a bottle of douche. Now, back in the day, people ain't have access to all that stuff. And also, sometimes people, you don't want people in your business, so you don't want to have, easy access products around. That is absolutely fine. There are plenty of ways. Essentially, what you're going to be doing is giving yourself an enema, right? Just cleaning out the track, cleaning out whatever's in there so it doesn't show up later in the party. So you can look up if you have children, or if you've ever had to have an enema, it's pretty much the same process. How you want to administer that enema is going to be up to you, right? So they have the bottles that are specifically made for it. You can go to any, drugstore or whatever, and they will have it. It usually just says, let me see if I can, hold on. Where's my little window? And I honestly don't know if Fleet is one of those things that's like Kleenex that you say when you mean this type of thing, but it's actually the brand name of the product. So like, and when I actually, how you say like, oh, I need to get some Kleenex, but you really just need tissue. So Fleet is kind of like that. But I want to show you what the bottle looks like. Oh, that's not the right scene. Hold on. That was from yesterday. We were talking about rectal foreign bodies. My bad. My bad. Okay, let's do window capture, and we are doing this one. Nope, that's me. Let's do this one. Okay, so this is the actual product. It's called Fleet. And essentially, again, it's just a douche bottle, a bottle that has a nozzle on it and it has a liquid inside. If you don't want to buy that, again, because this is a name brand product, nobody's paying me to say this, but when people are talking about it, this is usually the product they're talking about. And again, it's just essentially a bottle of douche. Okay, let me go back. Again, if I can just ask me what I need from this software so I can say, can you just make this in? Okay. Okay, let me make sure I haven't gone too far and that the other chats are still okay. So essentially it's a bottle of douche. Now, people have been giving enemas for years and they didn't always have those tools. So there are plenty of tools that you can use that will do the same thing. You can use a standard bottle. They don't use the contents. If you use a douche bottle, don't use the contents that are in the bottle, but that apparatus will do the same thing. That the nozzle with the hose and the squeezable bottle, that's what you need. Brain fart, sorry. Back in the day, they used to use for douching, they used to use hot water bottles. And so a hot water bottle is, and it has a bottle that you would use. It's like the preheating pad. You would put hot water in and you could put it up against your stomach or, whatever. And it was used for aches and pains and things like that. Well, it also came with a contraption that you can hook up to it that would allow you to have some tools that you can stick in various areas and flush out, right? So if you have a hot water bottle and you have the apparatus to do that, it's pretty much the same thing. Okay. So now we know what the tool looks like that we need. So what goes inside of it? Usually just a mild, warm, soapy water, right? So a warm water, mild soap, just, enough to, you don't need to be hot. It don't need to be cold. Like, just like you would do for a child. And, put a little bit of soap in there. Give it a good little shake up to go to make sure the soap is distributed. And those are the contents that you want in there. Or you could just use water. You could just use water if that's what you want. But chemicals, I don't know about putting chemicals up there. And holistic people have all kinds of stuff. I'm not the expert in that, so I can't say that. I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that. I'm just saying I don't know nothing about that. So I'm just here to tell you what the research papers say and what the doctors and the nurses and all them people have to deal with when you show up in the emergency room. So to make sure that we don't become one of those stories, right? So you are going to use a mild soap, same way you would for a child, to clear impaction. Fleet actually has instructions on it that tell you to lay on your side. I believe it's your left side. Lay on your left side and check that before you do, because if it's the right side, don't go in there doing the left side. Be like, Coach Catasha told me. Hold on now. It's been a long time since I read the instructions. Okay. But it tells you to lay on your side, and you would essentially lube up the same way you would lube up for play. So generous amount of lube. Start with the fingertip and just kind of clean around the area before you go inside. Just to feel, I'm not clean, but lubricate the area before you go inside. And you're gonna just lay on your side, or some people like to do it in the shower as well. Essentially, it's whatever way that you can keep the water in there the longest. Because the water, as soon as it is something about soap, and once it hits that intestinal tract, that body is like, whoa, we got to get up out of here. So just be prepared that you have to squirt the water in there, and let it sit for as long as you can take it, right? As long as you can hold it. Now, that don't mean to be in there for 3-4 days. Don't make me whoop you, okay? Don't make me get the floss water. It is not, in a reasonable amount of time. I think the instructions say maybe like 5-10 minutes or something like that. Again, I haven't read those in a long time, so read them if you need to. But it doesn't need to be, you're not running a marathon here. And so you're going to do that just a few times. Give it a few run throughs. Hold it as long as you can. Hello. Hold it. It says Soham04. How you doing? Is that said? Yeah, I got it right. Okay. Making sure that it is live. If you want to ask me some questions and you don't want people in your business, you feel free to send me a whisper. I do think they're open, so you can send it. But yes, this is live. So just keep that in mind. Hey, India. Okay. So you came in right on the good part. We're talking about butt stuff. So, trigger warning if you need it. You walked in on a conversation about enemas and butt stuff. So, okay. So you're going to hold that liquid in there, that warm liquid in there for as long as you can hold it. And then you are going to release. So you could do that over the toilet, if you're in the shower, whatever. And then you're just going to do that a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, and you should be good until the water runs clear, right? And pretty soon it should run pretty clear. If you've never done that before, I know that's a super scary process, but just make sure that you have planned. Again, this is something that you do if you want to have the best experience. I'll get to that question in a second. If you want to have the best experience, you need to make sure that you are prepared, that you are being intentional about your sexual interaction, and that you are, doing the most to make sure that both of you are going to enjoy it. And so one of those things is going to be making sure that you're prepared, right? Now, some people don't care about that, which is, again, also totally fine. It's a natural part of your body. That's what happens. If they can handle it, then hey. But many people do feel a way about running into feces in that situation. But if you do that process, you're good. That won't be an issue. You're good. You're good. So it's just it takes a little bit of preparation to do. To prepare for it, but if you do the correct preparation, it will make the process much easier when you actually get to the sex. Okay, the next question: what does a sexologist do? What's their main work? So my main work is to teach people about sex. So I actually just I teach whoever wants to learn about sex. I teach. You're very welcome. I teach doctors. I teach clinicians. I teach counselors. I teach therapists. I teach uh, military personnel. I've taught, doctors. It's everybody. I've taught everybody, and there are not a lot of people uh, who specify in sexuality. So there is a specific need for this. Is this a specific medical field? No, it's kind of more like a specific educational field for what I do. The So not necessarily like a phlebotomist or something like that. No, I am specifically an educator. Now, there are sex therapists who also specialize in sexual health. So theirs is a little bit more, theirs is a specific medical field because they do therapy along with um, their sexual health. But I specifically am just an educator. So um, I travel, I write books, and I just, I teach people about sex, however they're ready to learn. And you would be surprised. I am actually in Oklahoma, but if you need a resource, I do know. Let me hold on. I don't think I should have to ask if I can use her. I'm pretty sure I can. Um, I have if you need a resource, we can talk about that later. I'm actually in the United States, but I see that you're in India, and I do have a friend that is a sexuality educator that is Indian, and she can culturally, because we all have different um, cultural situations. Not saying that I don't know exactly where you are in India. Of course, it's a big country. So, but I do have a resource if you do need it. I have a friend that, if you're looking for someone who is Indian and knows about the culture, and, we talk a lot because she's in I have a BIPOC educators group for BIPOC folk who teach sex education, because culturally we all come from different communities, and those different communities have vastly different views on sex. And so I, as an American sex educator, would probably struggle coming into an Indian community talking about sex from my lens, right? And so we all have our own specific niches, right? And so yeah, let me get it for you. Hold on. I can get you her info for sure. Let's see, Nikita. Oh, I know I did not spell that right. Give me just a moment, because I just redid my email. I had to like re-download it, so now it's like updated, and I can't tell where nothing is because I'm an old lady. Oh, I don't know when it happened, but it happened. I am here. Oh, grandma, get away from me. Okay, let me. Hold on. I know I don't have. I don't even know why I tried to think that I knew it by heart, because playing in my own face. I'll have to find it. Give me a chance to find it. And I'm having the fartiest of brain farts too. Uh, Hold on. I think her Instagram is Pleasures by Nikki. Maybe she changed it. Yeah, I'll have to find it. I feel terrible that I don't just have it on hand, but hey, I'm old. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah, you are free to ask any questions that you want. As the limitations are is that you need to make sure that it gets through. So if you are being use a medical hat, use a medical lens to describe your issue. Uh, but I guess that didn't really help. But let me know if it doesn't let the question come through, and we'll have to like reword it because some of them are getting auto modded. The questions are getting auto modded, which I understand. This is the platforms that I'm using are not built for this. So we have to work around it, which is fine. Okay, the question is, what do you think about fetishes? I think fetishes are great. The thing about fetishes is there's always two sides, right? And so there's always someone who really likes something and someone who really likes providing that thing. So if you are interested in, you know, I don't know, race play, if you're interested, we were just talking about race play. The thing about that is there's somebody on this side that wants to do it and there's someone on this side that wants to do it. Says, what's the main cause? Because sometimes it gets frustrating. So, okay, well, let's talk about what you mean by frustrating. Is it uh, something that a fetish that you have, or are you being fetishized? Like, is someone imposing their fetishes upon you? Which part of it is making it frustrating for you? Because again, um, for it to be a pleasurable experience, both people need to be consenting adults, right? So the problem that most people have with fetishes is that they aren't open and upright about the fetish. And so they don't attract the other side of that fetish. They usually attract someone who is not interested, or someone who's on the same side they are on, or whatever, and it just doesn't um like arousal, seeing women body parts. Okay, so it's frustrating you, like arousal, seeing women body parts, and I really struggle with it. I want to get rid of it. Okay, unfortunately that's not how it works. Okay. Sexuality is something that you're going to be ingrained with, right? You will have to learn to control yourself, absolutely, but the desire to want to see the Grand Canyon doesn't die because you can't see the Grand Canyon, right? It is That is a part of the arousal process. Now, again, your fetish is confined to you, okay? So even if you are into certain things, for it to be a healthy exchange, it also has to be shared with the person that you're experiencing with, okay? So being aroused by women is not a fetish, right? That's just sexuality. um Even being aroused by body parts, like, yeah, so my definition for a fetish, and I again, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think your doctor gonna talk to you about fetishes. But fetishes to me are things that are not associated with sex that make you aroused. Okay. So if it's supposed to make you aroused, if it's associated with the sexual and reproductive organs, then that's not a fetish. If it's you like kneecaps, then that's a fetish, right? Because a fetish is not something that's inherently sexual, but arouses a certain person. So for it to be a fetish, it would have to be like you like kneecaps, or you like big thighs, or Some people like really hairy body parts, like they like hairy women. I do a fetish check-in a couple of times a year on my social media, and you will be surprised at some of the things that people enjoy, and even not like necessarily fetishes, because sometimes there are just things that people are attracted to, right? And so when you talk about attraction, you say, these are just people that you could find beautiful, or people that you can see the beauty in them. But for it to be a fetish, it has to elicit a sexual response from you, but not be inherently sexual. That is my definition of a fetish. So you might not even really be struggling with a fetish. You might just be struggling with sexuality, and, how you see yourself, how you are allowed to see other people in your community, because our communities have a big input on how we view our bodies and how we view other bodies. So, say for example, in the black community, seeing a big butt is not a big deal, right? Because people are used to black women having big butts. But you take that big butt somewhere else and everybody's like, there is a content creator, I do not know her name, but she is in a black woman, and she is in China right now, and she is stacked. I mean, body is big T, okay? And she's self-conscious about her full figure in that community, because it's not what's normal there, right? And because it's not normal, people look at her, and she gets more attention than she wants. So it just depends. It depends on your community influences on how you see bodies, and how you see your body, and how you see other bodies. Okay, but you know what? I tend to blank a lot, and it's affecting my health now, so I want to get rid of it. Well, okay, so if you're saying it's affecting your health, then now you're talking about you're moving into some unhealthy behaviors. And so if you're moving into unhealthy behaviors, then that's when you're going to have to start talking to a therapist, right? Because if you are having problems with like the process of seeing, and it's having a physical reaction in your body, like you are having a reaction that's causing you to do something that is unhealthy to you, then you need someone to get in your brain and help you rewire how you see that, right? So I would suggest to see a therapist if you can. And I know that this is not always possible. If you can, try to find a sex positive therapist. Okay. And I know that even gets smaller, the number gets smaller of options when you start getting into culturally different communities. But if you can, try to find a sex positive therapist. So some therapists are just people, right? So they're just like your neighbor. They're just like, all the other people in your community. And that person could have adverse feelings towards sex and not want to discuss that with you, right? So if they have predispositions, like say they don't believe in masturbating, and you go to a therapist who doesn't believe in masturbating, that's not a sex positive therapist, because you can't take your issue to them, because they have their own biases about your issue. So try to find someone who is sex positive, so that they won't write you off if you want to go in and talk about an issue with masturbating, or if you feel like you're excessively masturbating. There might be someone that's like, well, you might get kicked out, or, people could be mean and be rude about it. So if I can save you from having to find that out on your own, please take that little bit with you. Okay. If you need a therapist and you are having a sexual issue, then your goal should be to find a therapist that is a sex positive therapist. And there are plenty online if you look them up. There's also there's so many services that people have no idea about that are available. There are many different people who work in this field. Like I said, I'm an educator. There are somatic therapists. There are all kinds of surrogate partner therapy. There's all kinds of options that people don't know that are out there to cater to specifically sexual and intimate issues. So, um, if you are struggling with, what we would consider unhealthy behaviors are going to be behaviors that are limiting your daily life, right? If it's cutting into you, if you're missing work, if you're missing events, if you'd rather stay home and participate in this activity, now you're moving into a different territory. And, usually those are associated with different type of, addiction protocols. So you need to talk to someone for sure. Just to ask in general, do therapists prescribe medication for such issue? Just to ask in general, of course, you can't diagnose me online. Absolutely. So I'm not a doctor. Thank you for putting that in there. I cannot diagnose you online. So here's the thing. In therapy, there are two different types. So if you go to a therapist, those are usually just talk therapy. To get prescriptions, you have to go to a psychotherapist, I believe. In my community, I don't know for all communities, but you can get medications if your therapist can have you to give you an idea of what's out there. Your therapist will know that. So say you go in, you say, hey, I'm experiencing erectile dysfunction. Like, what's going on? Your therapist will talk to you. They'll say, okay, well, maybe talk to your doctor about trying this, and this, right? So your therapist is just going to be to help you make the mental connections to your body so that you can function in a healthy sexual environment. And then my job is to tell you how to function in the healthy sexual environment, right? So it is a lot of different facets. And please, if you are interested in joining this work, we need all bodies, okay? No matter what you want to do. If you want to give greasy massages on Instagram, please, the people need greasy massages, okay? So yes, a psychiatrist is going to be the one that can give you the medicine, because a therapist does not have the power to prescribe. So, but yeah, if you're having different issues, there are medications, but they're not always the treatment isn't always a medication as well. So like, yes, they may give you a medication to, bring you off the edge. If you're doing behaviors that are causing you to do unhealthy things, then they may give you medicine to like bring you off the edge. But the goal is to be able to manage that, issue without getting to the edge. Okay. So they may prescribe medication, but they're also going to have behaviors that you're going to have to try. You're going to have homework, and that kind of stuff is going to come from your therapist. They're going to be the ones that are going to help you rewire the processes that you've made to bring you to that edge. And so essentially, I usually work in a triad, right? So almost all of my clients are in therapy. And if they're not in therapy, I'm recommending therapy. And if you stay with me long enough, I'm going to press for you to get into therapy. But there is a lot of baggage that comes that we are burdened with sexuality. There's a lot of baggage. And that baggage is not something that you are prepared for, right? So sex is one of those things where everybody's supposed to be good at it. Everybody's supposed to be this magnificent being, and they're supposed to do this perfect act, but nobody's supposed to talk about it, right? And then there's a lot of trauma that comes with that because, people have been manipulated for sex. People have been violent for sex. It says my Insta profile is restricted. Yeah, unless you're an adult. That's the only way you can get in. Yeah, I think so. It should be. This is only, I hope you are an adult. This is an adult only class. But, I'm not gonna scold you, but yeah, it is gonna be restricted. And it also might be restricted based on where you're looking as well, because my profile is all of my accounts, all of my social media show that I am a sexuality educator, and those rhythms are flagged for sex. My Instagram profile has a dildo in the picture, so that's probably why. That's probably why it's restricted. But that picture, it's in there because that's one of my learning tools. And me and Clinton have been on. Um, okay. Yeah, it is. It is all of my stuff is going to be restricted. I do not. Again, there are a lot of people who are seeking sexuality education, but I only teach adults. So the type that I teach is not an age appropriate introduction to sex education for children. So all of my stuff is locked down. They still find me. My niece tell me she be on my TikTok all the time. She probably watching this right now. But I try to do everything that I can to make sure that I'm not I only want to help people who want to be helped. Okay. I don't want anybody saying that I'm pushing nothing on them. I am here specifically for people who are looking for help in their sexual lives. That's it. And if you are not, baby, you don't have to like me. You don't have to follow. I know how, people is. I'm just here. I'm here teaching what I teach, and whoever gonna find me is gonna find me. So, but yeah, if you see me on, I'm Coach Catasha on almost all of my social media, or Catasha, and you can find me. And again, you can send me your questions if you have something that don't want to ask. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And I hope that you did get some help. I hope that I was able to do it. Why is it taboo for women to know and talk about sex and a variety of things? The patriarchy, the system, religion. Sex is something that's supposed to happen to women. It's not supposed to be something that they enjoy. That all of the history that surrounds sexuality and the structure that built how we move through sex right now was built on the backs of using sex as a resource for the people who need bodies, right? And when I did my book, I wrote a book about cunnilingus and fellatio. I wrote a how-to guide on both of them. Those guides, I had to learn how to draw. I had to fucking learn how to draw to be able to draw a guide that was based on pleasure centers and pleasure based, not just this is what you do if this is duct is blocked, or everything that I was looking up it wasn't together, and it wasn't based on a need to know about pleasure. It was just based on if this goes wrong, if your urethra, if you get a bladder infection, or your Bartholin's gland, you get a cyst, and all of those kind of things. But they don't tell you what part they play in sexuality. What do you need to do? What does this part do? And so that's what I had to learn how to draw, so I can draw these body parts so I can show you what it looks like and how these places are used in pleasure. And so to know that there's actual doctors, I don't have a medical degree, and that shit was hard. Listen, some of that stuff, medical papers are insane. What language is that? What are they in there talking about? Because that is nuts. But it was hard. It was hard trying to figure out, but I learned a lot about the body and all these parts. And there's 11 parts of the vulva that you need for sexuality. There's how many holes? How many holes do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 holes down there. Everybody know about 2, and there's 6 holes there. 6. Right? So there's all these conversations that we're not having, and that's why what this work is so important. Okay. Um yeah, so but you only have sex that mostly when you want to have a baby in India. I'm saying we don't do that much in general. Western cultural practice on regular basis. Yes. Okay, so absolutely. But here's the thing is that you're supposed to experience the pleasure to make a baby. Like, that's the reason why it's pleasurable, because the body wants you to make a baby, right? There are plenty of things that you do when you fart that doesn't feel pleasurable unless you got a lot of gas in there. But like, there's a lot of things that your body does that is not meant to be pleasurable. It's just supposed to help you exist. But the reason that making a baby feels pleasurable is because you're supposed to get pleasure from it, right? But a lot of people don't focus on the pleasure part of it. They just focus on the baby making part. And so a lot of people, and especially cultures that are based steep in religion, right? Those cultures see casual sex for women as an issue, as an impurity, but they don't see casual sex for men in the same light. So that kind of lets you know who's controlling the narrative when you talk about sexuality. And, just, I don't like to blame everything on the patriarchy, but this one is definitely on the list. Okay. I checked it. It was there. I'm sorry. So sex is just it's a taboo topic, and it's crazy because almost everyone is doing it. Almost everyone. Almost all adults are doing it. Almost all of them. So it's crazy that it's so taboo for something that almost everyone is doing. And because they can keep it taboo, they can keep it under wraps, and they can control how you see sex, how you view sex, how you view yourself, and how you view other bodies. So, and even in like when you think about cultures, like we're talking about India, how possible is it to be same-sex attracted in that community? And what would that do to people who are experiencing same-sex attraction if the community does not make space for it? It becomes a tug of war. So, right, there's not much space for that. But there are people who are same-sex attracted. That's not something that happens culturally. That is what happens when people feel open and free enough to just exist and to be. People may think you are weird. And that's where that comes from. That's how your community can shape your sexuality, and you have no say-so in that matter. So just you wanting to exist how your body feels, what makes you feel good, what is enticing to you, the community around you can say, that one is my degree for college, for my 4-year one. That one at the top is my degree for sexuality. So this is my bachelor's in communications, and then that's my my certified holistic sex educator degree. So, and I'm thinking people that got me thinking about going back to school. Oh, I'm gonna be one of them black women with just papers all up and down the wall. Oh, I'm gonna be one of them. Oh, why they got me thinking about going back to school? I do not have that money. But if it take off, tell your friends, and so they can take it. It can take off, and I can pay for me to get my master's. Because they definitely not gonna give me no more money. I still owe them from the last. I don't. I forgave myself. Oh man. So Okay, any other questions? We have a few more minutes. Let me talk. Throw your questions in the chat if you have them. Let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the week. Oh, not that one, girl. Okay. Okay. So today is Wednesday, so we were doing Ask Coach Katasha. Tomorrow is going to be Sex Tech Thursday, where we are going to be talking about virtual and augmented reality and the future of sex. On Sex Tech Thursdays, we usually discuss um, just whatever the newest technology is that comes out. There's so much. Like I just started this series. It asks how often you stream and are you new to Twitch? Yes, I am. I stream every day. This is my schedule for each of my classes. It's either going to be at 12:30 or 2 during the week, and then on Friday I stream at 9 p.m. So what time is it where you are? Uh I'm just being nosy now. I want to know what time it is. Cuz I do get people that be from other places. I had someone from the Philippines and I was just like I forgot to ask them what time it was over there, but I appreciate you all showing up no matter what time it is. So we're going to do talk about virtual reality sex and augmented reality sex. I'm super hype about that. Oh, 1:40 in the morning. Oh, I like that. Okay. So I like that. I like that it's a later time for you so that you are able to participate. That makes me happy. Okay, so and then on Friday we do late night with Coach Katasha. And late night with Coach Katasha is just it's just a space for us to come in and kind of hang out. It's very laid back and kind of like this. Our other stuff is usually curated courses that I've got all the information together, and we go through the slides, and I can put the resources in the chat if I need to and all that good stuff. But our yeah, we do. We do oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, if you want to go check it out, it's on the that class is on Twitch and it is on live on posted on YouTube as well. So we talked about restraints and I pulled out all my stuff. I have a lot of sex toys. Again, I've been doing this for 11 years. So I have a lot of toys. So I pulled out the stuff and we just talked about different toys. So definitely go check that out. We do on Mondays we have Sex Ed with Coach Katasha. This we already did these. This is our weekly schedule, but next week we'll be talking about PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So we'll talk about and PMDD is kind of like PMS, but to the 45th power. So we'll be talking about PMDD. And then on Tuesday, what are we talking about on Tuesday? Let me see. Hold on. Tuesday we're talking about how to pick the perfect toy. Okay, so we talk a lot about toys and different ways and accessibility issues with toys. And so we're going to go through the 5 questions that I use when I'm helping clients pick their perfect toy, to kind of make sure that you're not wasting your money, first of all, but also that you're getting what you want, because toys do different things and you want to buy the toy that works best for you. So we have some more minutes. If y'all have any more questions, again, please feel free to what are you doing? Okay. Leave them in the chat. You can send them to me if you are shy. Let me check my other platforms. I think this one shows me YouTube. And what is endometriosis? Oh, so endometriosis is when scar tissue builds up on the endometrial lining of the uterus. So if you have particularly difficult periods, or you have pain during sex, or if you have pain or after sex, if you have pain during bowel movements or when you pee, those types of things can be signs that you have scar tissue buildup built up on your endometrial lining, and could be causing you pain and different issues. Many people have, especially if you're in India, you also have a community that experiences endometriosis at higher levels. So we do, Black women do, Afro Caribbean women, um, Indian women, and I want to say it was one more, but I'm not sure. So, and one thing that I do love about the space that you are in, each community has its own like plus and minuses. I was able to find a lot of birth control options on Indian websites, that you are like diaphragms and like different spermicides and things that are really difficult to get here. There were numerous places. So I see that they have your birth control options there. I don't know what that looks like now, but I was able to find a lot of sites uh, in India that had birth control options. I have a question. People that say they are heterosexual, pansexual, whatnot, but we are born either male or female. So you being born male or female and heterosexual and pansexual are two different things. So your sexuality, how you express yourself sexually, is different than your gender and different than your biological sex. All of those things are separate. And as we learn and grow, and that's the great thing about science, is that, our language is going to grow and change. And what we, there's no real genders. No, intersex people have existed for as long as time has existed. So there have been people born with multiple configurations of genders forever. Gingers and intersex people are born at the same rates. So no, there is no male, or it's not just male or female. Biologically, it's not just male or female. Intersex people have always existed. We used to, I don't know in all communities, but here in the United States, we used to let the parents pick, and they would just pick a gender and the doctor would snip off the other one or remove the ovaries of the other one. But they've always existed. Intersex people have always existed all throughout time. And many communities have names and places and roles in the community for people who fall outside of, what you've been taught as the genders, because they've known for many years that things can, there's intersex people exist. And so your genitals can come in a variety of like different flavors. You could get boobs and still get a penis. You can get, there are people who are born with people who have mastitis, which is the breast tissue, that have penises. There are people who have micro penises that resemble more of a clitoris. So your body can have a multitude of, different ways that it shows up. We just only focus on, these two genders because we're terrible people. Honestly, we're terrible people. We literally let moms and dads choose what gender their child was and just had the doctor snip off the other one. Like a pig, just rip off the nuts. Like, we have got to come to terms with how we move as a society, because we are making some terrible decisions presently. What are men with girl voice called? They also have breasts and wear women clothing. No disrespect, but I don't know. No, absolutely. So that's another thing that we want to make sure that, I know that everybody doesn't always have the language. I feel like that was a very respectful way that you asked that. So I appreciate you for giving it that try. So it just depends. Some people will tell you essentially what a society calls them are trans, right? And that is what the American societies call them. But they're called a lot of different things. They're called Two-Spirit in the Native community. In some Native communities, they're called Mushe in some Mexican communities. They just all have there are different names for them, but in America, we call them trans, right? Those would be trans women. So, and specifically, even the language around that is changing because it was originally transgender, but gender, they it for some people they don't like the gender part because they're non-binary. So trans is the safest term for right now, to make sure that you are identifying them correctly. So are they naturally born or converted themselves? It depends. You have to ask them. Everybody appears in plenty different ways, right? Not really. So here's the thing, right? If you know that society is going to hate you, to make a decision to be yourself, knowing that you are going to be condemned, knowing that society is not going to accept you, knowing that you are also increasing your chance of violence, that is excuse me, that is a radical decision in the body. Okay, you have to follow your body. And that means that people who are moving in that energy feel so strongly in their bodies that they're willing to accept the persecution just to be who they want to be. So, sorry. What's confusing is that we have made it our business. I have no cares about how people dress. I don't care at all. Excuse me. As someone who has been radical, my hair has been locked for over 20 years. I locked my hair when it wasn't cool. So it's real cool now, but it wasn't cool when I did. It was not. I was in college. Them professors was running me through the ringer, like telling me I was messing up my chances. Just plenty of people making how I present their business, right? I'm going to call you whatever you want me to call you because I respect you enough to do that. I'm not confused about who you are because hell, I don't even know who I am. So I don't have room to be confused about who you are. I'm still working out what I'm over here doing. So I think the confusing part is that we are wondering and worrying about something that's not our business. It's not our business. And so it's not confusing for me because it's not my business. I want you to live. I want you to wear whatever you want to wear. I want you to do whatever you want to do because that is your right. I have that right and I'm going to take it and use it. And I want that the same thing for everybody else. As long as you're not hurting nobody else. And even if it changes, even if how you present moves and changes, that's happened to me as a woman, going from a girl to a woman and even still going from a roguish woman to a wife to, we have transitions. And so I just think that it's important to make space for everyone that's here because we're also living in history. We are a part of history. People in the future are going to talk about what we're doing right now. And some of the choices that we're making right now on how we treat each other is going to be reflected poorly in the history books. And I don't want to be a part of that. So what's the deal with people of your ethnicity have curly dreads? Is those genetics? Most of the people of your ethnicity have same type hair. Yeah, absolutely. Most of the people of most ethnicities have the same type hair. So it's just one of the things that happen. We do have a lot of different flavors of our hair, but essentially our curl pattern is going to be more curly. It's just one of the things that is our bodies adapted for the environment that we came from. The way our noses are, if you notice that our noses are broader and, we're able to, I'm able to breathe in a lot of air, whereas people who are from colder climates usually have more thinner noses to, they don't need as much of that cold air coming into their body. So your body adapts to the place where you migrated from and to the place where you migrated to. Over generations, your body just changes. So that's just one of the characteristics of being black is having curly hair. Like the same way that if you are Chinese, you usually have, most Chinese people have the same hair texture as well. It just depends. So your ancestry is from Africa, I guess. It is. I am 83% African. It is absolutely Nigerian and West African, and I got some Gullah Geechee in there. So yes, I'm a black woman. Okay, I am from I'm from black women. I am a black woman. I will be a black woman forever. It is one of the best places on earth. I love everything about being me. So, yes, I am black. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're having a good time. I'm glad you're having a good time. We're usually here to about 3:30. We do about an hour and a half. So say someone black doesn't sound right to me, but okay. Yeah, again, in your community, it's probably not a normal thing for someone to be like, I'm black, but I'm black. I am a black American. I'm black. But I know that in a lot of different communities, being dark and being black is not something that's usually celebrated. There are plenty of communities around the world who bleach and who condemn their darker children. And so being black and having a proximity to blackness has always been uncomfortable for people, for here and for other places as well. Here it's offensive to call someone black as black. Really? Well, okay, because someone there wouldn't be black. I'm black because I am black American. So the only people that get to be black, like here, to get to be black, or the people that call themselves black are going to be black Americans. A lot of other people are not black. So if you see someone that is Nigerian or someone who is from South Africa or they're Eritrean or anywhere else, they're not black. Per se. And again, culturally, you know how it is. God, knowing your culture, there's a lot of little nuances to it as well. But yeah, someone over there that you see is black, they may not identify as black. Indian skin tones are various. Most of Indians are white too. So yeah, same thing. So, well, except over here, if you black, you black. There are people who have closer proximities to whiteness. And I think the biggest part of it is that being black for a lot of people is not something that is valued. And so we as black people, as a black American, we value it. I know the value of being a black woman. So I am not ashamed to say, or to have that name as a black woman, because I do understand the value. I know that other people don't, but I don't give a damn. That don't have nothing to do with me. Again, that is not my business. I love me. I love everything about me. I love all the cool shit I get to do. But we should never say the N word. That's offensive. What do you think? People make fun of it. Yeah, you shouldn't. It's the same way as I know there are words in your community that are offensive to you, that you would not like used against you. I don't use the word, but again, I don't police other black people who use it. That's not my business. I did use it and I loved every moment of it, but I wanted to be in a place, if we keeping it a buck, I wanted to be able, when white people was like, you use it, like, bitch, no I don't. No, I do not. So, but there are always going to be words that are within your community that people who can and do oppress you will use against you. You know, in other communities, it's other words. Like, I never understood the power of CUNT. That's not a word that's used in my community a lot, but that is used in white communities here a lot. And them women do not care. They do not play about that word. Like, do not call them that. And so you just have these culturally powerful words, and that's one of the words. But it's also a thing where, so here's one of those great things about being black is that we don't care that you think, that y'all think that about the word, and we still use it even though you think that about it, and we still won't let you have none. Like, we don't let them people have none even though they want to use it. But I feel like if even wanting to use that word, not being in the culture and wanting to, um as a brown guy, are we considered black as well in USA? No, you would not. You would be brown. And there's a big community here for that. But you would be brown. To be black, you have to be African American. and, and again, the thing about being black is, and now we finna get into the weeds on race, so I hope you're ready. The thing about being black is that we never had to be black until somebody needed to be white. Okay? So it was never necessary for people to be black until somebody needed to be white. And those people who needed to be white were happy to give up their community and their ancestral lineage to be white. And so to be white, you have to make somebody black. And there you have it, right? So everybody before, people were Portuguese, and people were Russian, and they were everything. They were Scandinavian. They were all these things, right? But then slavery happened, and people needed to be white instead of Scandinavian and Portuguese and all these other things. And at the end of the day, the risk of, the reward for it was that they were able to join a hierarchy that shuts others out. But black, white, red, yellow, at the end, we are human. We people need to understand this one day. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. But that is something that you have to tell the people who are putting their thumb on you, right? That information don't really help the people down here, right? It don't help you as a brown guy. It don't help me as a black woman. Like, I think that too, but the people who are putting their thumb on us don't care that we that we think that. So it's I agree. Like, there's value in everyone. There's value in all cultures, in all communities, but the system that we have, and the system that a lot of us are built into, and again, even though we're in two different places, both of our systems are still created under a religious umbrella, right? Of course, mine is a fake religious umbrella. I'm not going to say that about yours because I don't know nothing about it, but I do know that there are plenty of communities that are sexually restrictive and that are that don't make space for these people that exist. And those restrictions are usually centered under a religious background, right? The two genders, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. I don't know who told that lame ass joke, because he also made Steve. Like, he also made Steve, please. Please. But I don't know. It would be great. That would be great. So this is my contribution to that. I specifically teach to black people. I teach from a black lens. I teach from black statistics. I know what sexual repression does inside of the black body. I know what it does in our communities. I know how it reflects when people are not living their best lives. And so I've been able to slide into this niche market of people who need me, people who are looking for this service and are interested in becoming better for their sexual health. So again, I've got books. If you want to Google me, let me put my link tree. I'll put my link tree so you can find me on social media. If you have questions and you don't, feel uncomfortable with leaving them in the chat, feel free to inbox me. You can send them to my website. Let me find Nashita's stuff for you. Nashita. Okay. Pillow talk with. I know. I was like, I knew it. Okay. Um. Here is. NIXI. Did I do that right? Okay, here's her Instagram handle. First Indian Asex. Yep. So, okay, so I was right. She is Indian. But she's also like a scientist. Like, she's really fucking smart. So, I'm sure she would be able to. And she's sex positive. So, if you are looking for someone, I recommend her highly. And if you are in other communities, you're watching this in other areas, and you're looking for someone, especially if you're in uh, like BIPOC or any. Let me see. I think she does have a website on here. Let me look on her link tree. I'm over 21. Yep. Okay, hold on. Oh, it's doing it in Instagram. I don't want that. I want to share this. Let me just do it. Give me hold, please. I already have my link tree up, but that's not who I need. I need hers. So let me go to Instagram. Who is these people? Oh, somebody else is. Ah, there she is. Okay. So here is, let me go to the website. She's going to be so excited. I'm going to be like, all right, I sent somebody to you. That's her website. But yes, she went. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to have been helpful to you. Look, I got little chill bumps. That made me happy. Tell your friends. Okay, you don't have to tell everybody, but if you know people who are looking for sex education resources, please send them my way. They can follow me on YouTube. They can follow me on Twitch. Um, and just I want to help as many people as I can, so I appreciate you. You just made my day. You made my little old day. So we'll be back here tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to talk about sex tech, where we're going to be talking about virtual reality and sex. Ooh, I'm excited too. And if you got it, if you have the AI and the VR sex thing, please message me before tomorrow so you can tell me if you love it, because I want to know if anybody has it. If anybody has the augmented reality sex or the virtual reality sex, please reach out to me and let me know if you love it, if you like it. I would love to hear about your firsthand experience, okay?